The Paycheck Protection Program is back, and in this video, I'm going to go and unpack and update on the latest information and news about the Paycheck Protection Program, as well as talking about the Paycheck Protection Program that applies to self-employed individuals and independent contractors. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sam Kwok here, one of the Kwok brothers, coming to you again with another update on the SBA program, specifically the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, before we begin the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want more updates about the SBA programs, as well as the Paycheck Protection Program. Okay, so just a few weeks ago, the Paycheck Protection Program did indeed run out of money, but a couple of days ago, the government took action to put additional funding to the Paycheck Protection Program. With the additional funding that was added to the Paycheck Protection Program, there's also a new guideline that was established by the SBA that addresses situations like partnerships. And starting today, you can once again apply for the Paycheck Protection Program if you have not already. By now, several hours have passed, so you don't want to miss on the opportunity if you're eligible to go and apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. Also, you may want to act fast because all applications are due June 30th, 2020. That may seem far away, but remember, the Paycheck Protection Program, again, is limited by the funding as well as the time limit on the application. Now, in this video, I want to specifically address the individuals that are self-employed, independent contractors, and also my landlords, so I love you guys. I'll be addressing those three categories in this video, specifically how the Paycheck Protection Program will apply to you. Now, the definition of self-employed and independent contractor is if you file taxes and you add Schedule C to your taxes, you are considered self-employed or independent contractor. So you could be driving for Uber or Lyft, or you may have a side gig or a side business. Maybe you freelance on the side and you get paid 1099, or you self-report the income, then you would qualify to be self-employed or an independent contractor. Now, before we get into the self-employed part for the Paycheck Protection Program, let's go and get a quick refresher on what the Paycheck Protection Program is, who qualifies, what are the terms, and how the loan can be forgivable. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, so let's do a lightning round on the quick facts about the Paycheck Protection Program. All right, so who can apply? All businesses, including non-for-profit, veteran organization, tribal business concerns, sole proprietorships, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors with 500 or fewer employees can apply. Now, there are businesses that can also apply that have more than 500 employees, but there are guidelines as to which industry that applies to. So what can these loans be used for? Well, they must be used for payroll costs, including benefits, interest on mortgage obligation incurred before February 15, 2020, rent under lease agreements in force before February 2015, and utilities for which services began before February 15, 2020. Where can you apply? Well, you can pretty much apply at any local bank, such as a credit union, a community bank, or a national chain that you often see in your neighborhood. What are the terms of the Paycheck Protection Program? Well, quickly, the max amount that you can qualify for is $10 million. You can get a loan deferment up to 6 months, which means that you don't have to make a single payment on the loan for up to 6 months. The loan matures in 2 years with an annual interest rate of 1%. And no personal guarantee is required. However, if you use these funds fraudulently and if you lied in your application, you could be subject to criminal charges. Now, here's the part that everyone is interested about, which is the loan forgiveness. Yes, the Paycheck Protection Program is subject to loan forgiveness as long as you use it properly within the guidelines that the SBA has set up for you guys. So let me go and break down how exactly you can get your loan forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program. When you apply for the loan forgiveness, you do need several documents as well as some written records as far as how you use the funds with the Paycheck Protection Program. You also have to use 75% of the entire loan amount for payroll costs in order for you to be qualified for loan forgiveness. So if you don't have any intention on using the loan amount to pay your employees or do any payroll, this program may not be the best fit for you. But as long as you can show that you've used the Paycheck Protection Program loan to pay your employees and 75% of the loan amount has gone to payroll, your loan may be subject to forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program guidelines. You must also keep your employees hired, and there are bonuses for rehiring employees, so make sure you don't take the money, pay your employees, and then fire them right away. That just doesn't work, okay? Now, additionally, there are some suggestions that I've received from my accountant as well as my legal professionals about how to properly treat the loan amount when you receive them from your lender. The suggestion is that you should have as much record as possible when using the Paycheck Protection Program, such as retaining receipts, invoices, documents that show that you paid your payroll as well as your rent. So keep as much document and record as possible. Additionally, my accountant has suggested that you should have a separate bank account for the Paycheck Protection loan amount, mainly because you don't want any commingling and you want to show a clear transaction history that shows that the money from the Paycheck Protection Program has gone to use to pay the payroll, rent, utilities, and interest on a mortgage payment. Now, what is not forgivable is the fact that you didn't smash the like button on this video for the YouTube algorithm. So if you have not already, go and smash the like button and turn the like button to blue. Again, if you want more information about the Paycheck Protection Program, I'll go and leave the link down below where you can go read more about it. But next, we're going to get to the self-employed individuals. For those who are independent contractors, I want to talk about how the Paycheck Protection Program will work for you. All right, here we are, the Paycheck Protection Program for self-employed individuals as well as independent contractors. Let's quickly break it down, how this applies to you and what you can do to get the money from the Paycheck Protection Program. So if you are self-employed or an independent contractor and you don't have any employees, well, the first thing that the banks and the lenders are going to look at is your 2019 tax return, and they'll most likely look at what's called your Schedule C. Now, Schedule C is simply additional documents in your tax filings that show that you have self-employed income. In your 2019 tax return, if your Schedule C is $0 or you've not filed a tax that has a Schedule C, unfortunately, you will not qualify for the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, with your Schedule C on your 2019 tax return, your lender is going to go and look at line 31. This is due to the fact that the income cap is $100,000. So if you make more than $100,000 on your Schedule C, well, you're just gonna have to go with $100,000. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go divide that number by 12 to get the average monthly Schedule C net income, multiply that number by 2.5, and this is the amount of the loan. So for example, let's say line 31 says you make $150,000. The loan amount is $100,000 divided by 12 times 2.5, which equals $20,833. So technically speaking, that's the maximum amount that you can get with the Paycheck Protection Program if you're self-employed or you're an independent contractor. Now, I want to go thank my friends at entrepreneurshandbook.co, which they have been able to provide some amazing information about the Paycheck Protection Program for self-employed individuals as well as independent contractors. So if you want to go read the information yourself, I'll go and leave that link down below under the video description. Now let's go and talk about how the loan forgiveness will work for self-employed individuals as well as independent contractors. According to the Paycheck Protection Program guidelines, 8 weeks worth of 2019 Schedule C income is forgiven apparently automatically. This ultimately means that you don't have to show any documents, invoices, or receipts to show that you've used the loan amount for the appropriate things. Now, going back to the $100,000 income example in your Schedule C, the apparent automatic forgiveness amount will be $15,384. So out of the $20,833, $15,384 would be forgiven. The math is pretty simple. It's $100,000 divided by 52 and then times again by 8 weeks, which shows the $15,384 amount. Additionally, during the 8 weeks following the funding of the loan, any business expenses for utility, including business vehicle, gas, rent, interest, would be forgiven up to the remaining unforgiven amount of the loan. So technically, the entire loan amount of $20,833 would be forgiven if used for business expenses. Now, that's pretty much for the self-employed individuals, but the new guideline also addresses the individuals that have partnerships. Now, if your business is a partnership and you file a 1065 for your taxes, both you and your partners must apply for the PPP loan. So you alone cannot apply for it. Your entire collective group as a partners must apply for the Paycheck Protection Program together. It says the loan amount is based on the combined self-employed income of the general active partners up to the maximum of $100,000 per partner. So for example, if there are 3 partners in your business, the maximum loan amount is $300,000 divided by 12 times 2.5, and that equals $62,500 for the total loan amount. Now, it's not addressed specifically with the new guideline, but it is assumed that the partnerships and the loan forgiveness part will be the same thing as the proprietors and self-employed individuals. So the math is basically $300,000 divided by 52 times 8 weeks, which shows about $46,154 that is subject to forgiveness. Again, you can use business expenses, utilities, rent, interest on mortgages that could also be added to the loan forgiveness aspect of the partnership. Now the question remains, what about landlords? What if you own a rental property and that's pretty much the income that you have on top of your job, or maybe you have other businesses, but what happens to landlords? Now, because rental property income is not technically Schedule C, it's actually Form 8825 or Schedule E. The SBA really hasn't created a guideline as far as how Form 8825 or Schedule E will be treated, but so far the guideline that we do have is individuals that have Schedule C, independent contractors, maybe you file 1120S, which is an S corporation. The SBA says the Paycheck Protection Program is for you, but I have not found any information about individuals that own rental properties. Therefore, you file a Form 8824 Schedule E. If you are a landlord watching this, I do suggest that you have a conversation with your accountant or a tax professional as to which tax documents you file. If it's Form 8825 or Schedule E, I would definitely find. And if you file a Schedule C for some reason because you have an Airbnb hospitality business or maybe you have a property management business, then the guidelines of the Paycheck Protection Program would apply to you. I'll continue to update you guys as long as you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon so that you get notified when a video comes out. Now, for you landlords, what might be a better fit for you than the Paycheck Protection Program might be the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which I like to call the EIDL loan. An additional $60 billion of funding has been added to the EIDL program this week, so it is again open. It hasn't ran out of money yet, so definitely go and apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. There is a part in the application where you can go and put in how much of the rent that you've lost due to the coronavirus pandemic. And this is the program where it gives you up to $10,000 of grant money upfront within 3 days of applying. The grant is based on employee count or subcontractor count. So if you have handyman, subcontractors, plumbers, you can add all those in as far as how much money you can potentially get with the SBA EIDL grant. So that's pretty much it for the update, guys. If you have any questions about the Paycheck Protection Program or the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, go and leave it down below. As always, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification icon if you want to get notified on future updates and videos. And go and check out some of the other videos I created about SBA programs and the economic stimulus programs that are out there on the table as a proposal.